Hello and welcome to another Writerly Witterings. My name's Michael Dix. This is the latest in my 5-minute reviews, and the book I've got today is this rather gorgeous book, Casanova and the Faceless Woman. And before anything else, I'm going to say what a joy it was to receive a book which is so nicely presented. Really good cover illustration. It's got a cover that is sort of imitating a jacket sleeve on a hardback. I've read this all the way through, thoroughly enjoyed it, and you'll see that there's no damage on the spine. This has been really well produced. It's a quality book as well as a quality read. I do love that colour. That is really quite moody and like it. So what is Casanova and the Faceless Woman about? Yes, Casanova is in it, but he's not really the primary character. This is, I think, based on a series of books, and this is the first to get published in the UK. How it starts out is there's a young girl getting down from a coach in a Paris street, 1700s, and she walks out of that road into a little side turning. Obvious that someone is following her. There's a scream, she runs out into the road, just as Casanova happens to be coming past with a lady that he's been entertaining. And Casanova hears her scream, drops down to her side and discovers that her face has gone. She is faceless. The first thing that happens is the police officer calls the Inspector of Strange and Unexplained Deaths, obviously because the face has been cut off and this girl's dead. This is a chap called Volney, and he is probably the lead character, I would say. Volney was given his job some time before because he managed to save the king from an assassination attempt. There was genuinely an assassination attempt, and I think that the execution of the assassin was one of the most famous executions in France. It was particularly unpleasant. You can read all about it in here. I'm not going to go into it. But the nice thing is that this guy Volney had been a rebel of sorts and sought the overthrow of the king. So it's a strange situation for him now to be a police officer charged with the protection of the king. Be that as it may. Volney has a colleague, a man that he works with a lot, a monk, who is a lapsed monk, someone who's very experienced however in dealing with dead bodies and working pretty much as a forensic expert. So you've got Volney, who is the Sherlock Holmesian type who picks up on the tiny subtle clues. The monk is the guy who actually does the forensic work, and then these two work in tandem. But this book is full of revolution, conspiracy. There are spies around every corner. The very beautiful and delightful Chiara Dancila, who is very early on introduced, and she expresses a great deal of interest in Volney's investigations. There's also the Comte de Saint-Germain. There is the King's Mistress, Madame Pompadour. There's also the fearsome Brotherhood and another group, the Devout Party, and there's Freemasons, and there's lots. There's alchemists. There's everything you could possibly imagine thrown in. And it sounds, when I describe it like that, as though it's a really messy potential read. It is not. This is tightly written, really superbly well done. And that brings me on to the second level here. You sometimes get really good books written by very good novelists. If, like this, it's written in a foreign language, you must also then pay homage to the efforts of the translator. The lady who translated this was Louise Rogers-Lalaurie, and she has done a brilliant job. I don't read French, so I have no idea how the original actually came out, how it read, how it looked and so on. But this feels like a novel that's written in English. It is really superbly well imagined. It is superbly well depicted. If I had any negatives at all to say, I would say that every now and again it can grate a little bit when there's too many adjectives thrown into the mix. But that doesn't matter, it doesn't detract from the book. This is a superb book, brilliantly presented, very, very well translated. I've got absolutely no hesitation to recommend this at all. Really good read. You must get a copy. So there you go. And now I've got my work cut out because I've had a few other books turn up. One that's coming out next week is the latest Anthony Rich's The Scorpion Strike. So that's the book I'll be reading for next week, because that'll be out next week, and so it seems to be in order for me to read it, really, doesn't it? Thank you very much for watching. I hope that was interesting. I hope you go out and buy that book now. If you want to, you can go and buy that book too, and then you can... Oh no, you can't buy it, can you? Because I've got a pre-release copy. That's mine. So tough. You can speak to me about that one later when you have had a chance to buy it and read it. For now, thanks for watching. Don't forget, if you've got any questions, put them in the comment section. If you enjoy this, please subscribe, hit the bell button, all that stuff, and tell your friends about it, share it, and yeah, it's about it. Really like it. And cheers. Take care.